Alright, so the TSAR Bomba has officially dropped, if you will. If you want to check it out, you can find it by clicking the link in the description, in all its safe for work glory. The TSAR Bomba drop has no illicit content within, and if you want to take a look at everything within, you can. There's videos, audio and screenshots, and it's all open to you, my friend. This wouldn't be possible, however, without the help of Operation Bluism, Filthy Heretic, and Esoteric Entity, along with many other people who don't have YouTube channels. They're gonna make their own videos, or they've made their own videos, documenting their discoveries from their own personal investigations, and taking stuff from the collaborative effort known as the TSAR Bomba data drop. For my video on the drop, I'm going to be covering one of my own discoveries which I looked incredibly deep into and found an entity which stretches all the way to the establishment media. And yes, I'm not kidding. This all started when a friend of mine entered some Discord servers run by left-wingers in search of evidence of censorship, violence against political opponents, organised flagging and all that other stuff that, you know, these neo-leftists tend to do. I believe Esoteric Entity referred to this stuff as level 1 in his videos, like, it's the stuff they always do. But here's the thing about that. Don't let it discourage you from watching this video. This is possibly the best level 1 thing I or anyone else has ever found and followed every which way to understand its mechanisms and the threat it poses to free speech on YouTube. If anyone remembers YouTube Heroes, it's kinda like that. For the rest of you who don't know what that is because you weren't around on YouTube then, well, YouTube Heroes was a system headed by the CEO of YouTube, Susan Wojcicki. What this system was a system which allowed people to volunteer to improve the YouTube experience through gaining rewards from banal things such as adding subtitles to videos to flagging down inappropriate content. And once you reach level 3 on the hero's food chain, you gain the ability to mass flag with maximum convenience and minimal difficulty. So, what if someone tried to replicate this system outside of the YouTube establishment? Well, that's what Antifa decided to do with this Google Chrome extension. You may be asking where I found this. I found this by looking through these left-wing Discord servers and discovering this same extension being shared around multiple servers. Two of the more notable ones where this extension was discovered were Fort Slime server and an actual joke server. But for me, screenshotting or even recording with OBS isn't enough. So what I decided to do was dive right into the belly of the beast and install this extension to my browser. And this is what ended up happening. As soon as I installed this browser extension, it asked me to refresh, and when I did, it told me that I have, quote, 26 YouTube videos to report. What are these videos? Are these crazed lunatics asking for mass genocide? Will it show me actual Nazi content or fascist content like what it claims to do? Well, no. That stuff usually gets taken down straight by YouTube itself without this system, so what do they attempt to take down? Well, there's one way to find out, so let's click the Start Reporting button and see what happens. And it turns out I get taken to a YouTube video which appears to be a parody of a Frozen song, which seems to be a reference to Trump's wall based off the title of the video, and I watched this video to be pretty underwhelmed and completely unoffended. It made jokes about transgender safe spaces and was very, very slightly pro-white. How terrifying. So I decided to click next and see what I got. What I got for the next video was the complete saga of Elliot Rodger. What's this got to do with fascism? What has some loser 22-year-old who killed himself and others over him not being able to get fucked have to do with fascism? I don't really know. I'll give them one more chance to impress me, then I'm calling it quits on this. And it looks like I got a video which has been reported for hate speech and removed from YouTube already, so it seems like these people do have the power to get things removed. I have no idea what this video used to be, but whatever it was, it's gone now. So what I did after that was click the report button on one of these videos to see what it brought up. and it didn't bring up the usual report screen, which looks like this. As you can see, it gives multiple options for what grounds you want to report the video on. It could be incentivizing violence, child abuse, or could be porn, which violates YouTube's TOS. Keep that in mind, because when I report it through the extension, it automatically fills in the report and sets it up to be reported with a press of a button. For example, it wants to report the Frozen parody for, quote, using transphobic and racist slurs. It violates YouTube's hate speech policy and thus doesn't belong on YouTube. I mean, how dare you call someone a tranny? That's hate speech and you deserve to be silenced for even saying that word. But wait, there's more. After you've reported it, or in my case, closed the report window the extension generated, it gives you the option to report it again. So that means anyone with this extension is capable of reporting a video with it, and reporting it again, and reporting it again, and again, and again. I mean, does anyone see why this might be a problem if it gets into the hands of people who believe in censorship for wrongthink? Like Antifa? You know, the people who rioted at Berkeley over an alt-right troll giving a speech, making him more famous in the process? And if you thought that was it, you'd be wrong. What if I told you the mainstream media gives these people who made this mass flagging machine positive press? Well, the New Yorker did exactly that. And I've linked the article in the description and you can see it scrolling on the page. But I'm not going to be reading that absolute trite. I can prove it exists. And that's enough because I'm not reading that. We'll be here all day. But there's even more. If you don't have any videos to flag, it will give you the options to look at 4 websites for news, apparently. What they all have in common is their glorification of violent actions against so-called fascists. What that could mean as a concrete term in this context, I have no idea. Does it mean fascism in its original context as a command economy, where the state gives businesses quotas and nationalizes them if they don't meet those quotas, combined with a strong sense of national identity? Is that what it means by fascism? Or is fascism just some kind of buzzword to mean, the bad people, silence them? Even as a voluntary individualist, I know more about fascism than any of these Antifa people who dedicate their lives to stopping it through toppling bins in the streets. Out of all these websites that say they support anarchism, I cannot find a single thing about anarchism. All I can find is these idiots reinforcing what anarchism is stereotyped as. And this is why anarchism is not going to be taken seriously by real working people again, like it was in the late 1800s and early 1900s. The neo-left scourge must be removed. Until that spreading cancer is zapped out of existence by genuine people who believe in actual anarchism instead of these neo-left scumbags, we will be called terrorists, violent thugs, hooligans, criminals, yada yada yada, etc, etc. I wish to remove this stigma, and if you're a real anarchist who believes in real voluntarism and the refusal to initiate violence, then you are with me, and you are with the 4 horsemen of anarchism. We will unite anarchists from the left and right together, and create a better world for all of us. But if we are going to do this, then we must first get rid of the neo-left and their secret desire for a totalitarian society where misgendering people can get you lined up against the wall and shot. Oh, and before you accuse me of being hyperbolic, do remember that once the authoritarian side get what they want, they don't stop. In my country, the United Kingdom, they got guns banned. What did they do after that? Did they just stop there and say, okay, that's what we wanted? No, that's not what they did. What they did was starting to push for banning knives. In New York, they pushed for a bill to punish people with fines for misgendering people if they do it based off their own convictions about gender identity. That's the point. Both libertarian socialists and libertarian capitalists need to push this Orwellian process back. You know, I don't agree with Churchill on much, but he's definitely right on this one. The fascists of the future will call themselves anti-fascists.